A journey begins with one small step. It doesn't matter how hard you hit, whether you win or lose. What matters is that you have a common goal. And to reach that goal, it takes a band of brothers acting as one. Every week, we come together to witness these gladiators of the gridiron pour their heart and soul onto the field. This is Wendy's Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
Welcome to Jim Roth Field at Tiger Stadium. We're in Catawissa, Columbia County for tonight's Heartland Conference Division II showdown between Danville and Southern Columbia. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide. Welcome to week number 8 of high school football. Joining me in the booth tonight, Chris Kaharski from PAFootballNews.com, and Emma Henzis will join us on the sidelines. And Chris, the Tigers come in with a 58-game consecutive regular season winning streak. They're ranked in the top spot in your rankings in 2A. But when the next 3 games may be the toughest 3 regular season games they face in 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Roth probably wants it that way. He wants them playing good competition down the stretch because he knows when he hits the playoffs, the teams get better and better as you go. So for him, this is exactly how he wanted to line up. And it's not going to be an easy task for the Southern Columbia Tigers. Obviously, the target's always on their back. Somebody wants to pull that upset and break that streak.
Danville is going to try to break that streak tonight. They have some great talent on that side. They're 6-1 coming in, but they don't feel like they're playing their best football. But Peyton Persing, our Plaza House Furniture Spotlight Player of the game, is going to do what Peyton has to do tonight.
Listen, he's an electrifying player, and he's going to have to make some splash plays tonight. Big plays, not just on offense, Bob, but special teams. If he can get a kick return or a punt return, get Danville believing they can win this game, that could be major in upsetting Southern Columbia tonight. So he's the one to keep an eye on, not just on offense, but on all phases of the game.
As you know, the Tigers are loaded with talent, including Julian Fleming, our other Plaza House Furniture Spotlight Player of the game. He's getting national attention.
Well, he's only a sophomore, and last year was kind of the coming out party for him as a freshman. Once he got into the state playoffs, everybody's going, who's this Fleming kid down in Southern Columbia? And he's just a great talent. Athletically, he is built like an athlete, but he just does so many different things on the football field, and he's going to be hard for Danville to contain.
Well, can Danville knock off Southern Columbia tonight? When we come back, it's the opening lineups and the opening kick.
This is Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
And here come the Ironmen, the purple and orange from Danville, 6-1 overall. Southern Columbia, number ranked 2A team in the state in their black and gold. And we are ready for football at Jim Roth Field at Tiger Stadium. Welcome back, everyone. The third member of our crew tonight is Emma Henzis. Aaron Dugan has the week off. And Emma, this rivalry has been kind of one-sided since the beginning of the decade.
Well, so the last time Southern Columbia and Danville met, the Southern Columbia Tigers won by 40 points. And that's been characteristic of their last 4 meetings in the past 6 seasons. The Ironmen have not defeated the Tigers since 2010. And again this year, Southern Columbia has been plowing through teams, winning by an average of 42 points. But hopefully we'll see a closer game tonight. Back to you, Bob.
Hopefully, Chris, thank you, Emma, that we will see a closer game tonight. Danville won the toss. Southern Columbia won the toss. They deferred to the second half. We'll see the Ironmen getting the ball first. Doing the kicking tonight, Elijah Hoffman, the senior for the Tigers. Deep to receive, Peyton Persing and Shane Kozik. 2 deep threats, Steve, that could, Chris, that can make this game start off on the right note for Danville. Kozik picks it up on the sidelines. He brings it up to about the 26-yard line. And that's where we'll see the Toyota starting lineup for the Ironmen. Caden Riley, the freshman quarterback, filling in for his injured brother, gets the start. Some talent in the receivers. Watch out for Seas and Persing. Up front, they are big and strong, and they have a lot of experience. They return for Danville. Four defense for the Tigers. Couple of yards. That's about it on the first play.
And it's going to be interesting. We talked to Coach Kaiser before the game. How can they make this easy for the freshman quarterback, Bob? Obviously, he's got a little bit of butterflies in the stomach, his first varsity start. And as a freshman, that's a tough thing to step into, especially against the #1 team in the state. So I think they're going to be conservative, stay within their offense, let their running game kind of drive, at least through this first drive.
Palm and Feldman in the backfield. First throw of the night. Riley has a strong arm. Overshoots his intended receiver, Kozik, and now your Toyota Tiger defensive line. Boy, everyone is back up front, including Andrew Bell, and watch out for Bendis on the outside.
This is
very active linebackers, Chris, including Halliday and Shikatano in the middle. And the secondary, Julian Fleming, is back there. Last year, he was a backup at quarterback. This year, he gets the start.
This is where Jim Roth wanted to see the most improvement from his team from last year. If you remember in the state championship game, they struggled defensively. So he wants to see this unit improve, and they have this so far this season.
Try to get it on the inside on a quick handoff to Seas. He goes nowhere. Taken down immediately by the interior defense, and the Danville Ironmen will be forced to punt.
Not what you wanted with the Ironmen. You know, you want to try to control the ball here and keep Southern's offense off the field. 3 and out is definitely not the way Coach Kaiser wanted to begin this football game.
Mowry does the punting, number 51. It's a high end-over-end kick. They keep it away from Fleming and Garcia back there, and the Tigers take over at the 35. Southern, as expected, averaging over 43 points per game, and they don't turn the ball over at all. Just 2 fumbles on the season. In fact, Stone Hallenbach does not have an interception all season long.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Usually one slips away from your hands, or a deflected ball usually gets caught, so that's impressive by Hallenbach to have no interceptions so far through the season.
Ironman defense will be tested with this high-powered offense. Average 319 yards on the ground. First handoff taken by Heim. He's wrestled down quickly by Mowry, number 51. Here are Sunbury Motors impact players for the Tigers, Chris.
Obviously, Gage Garcia is the guy you want to keep an eye on. He's the playmaker out of the backfield. You mentioned Hallenbach controlling the ball, not making turnovers. And on defense, Cal Holliday will make a lot of plays for the Tigers tonight.
2 sophomores and a senior in there. Very young team. Hallenbach's first pass deflected and intercepted. Picked off by Cooper. Danville gets the first turnover of the night, and they have excellent field position.
Well, we just talked about the lack of turnovers, and like I just mentioned too, Bob, usually you get the deflected ball, or a ball slips. That was a deflected ball right into the hands of the defender, Ken Cooper. That's a huge play for the Danville defense. That's going to give them some confidence here. Let's see if their offense can take advantage of it.
It was tipped at the line of scrimmage, Chris, so just after we mentioned no interceptions, Hallenbach picked off for the first time this season. Let's see if Danville can take advantage. Give it to Feldman. He has good room, up for about 7.
Yeah, if you notice, the Southern defense, 9 men in the box, Bob. This is power football for Danville against a power defense for Southern. So it's going to be a battle of wills up front. Who can win the line of scrimmage? Obviously, Southern has won the line of scrimmage a lot this year. Danville's trying to make that a question mark for the Tigers here in this first half.
Southern showing blitz. They bring the run blitz in. Good gain, close to a first down.
And I thought this is what they would do on the first drive, Bob. I was a little surprised they threw on second down. I thought they would just try to pound the football here. They want to control the clock keep it out of Southern's hands. Now they have a third and a very manageable 1 yard here.
Definitely, you think 2 down territory. Palm, left side, stood up. I don't think he got it. Big hit on the inside. And wrestling him down was Andrew Bell, the 6-foot senior. So 4th down awaiting the Ironman.
Well, now Southern can turn the tables here if they can get a stop on 4th and short and negate that turnover that just happened.
Second man through is Feldman. He has a first down. They'll move the chains inside the 20.
Like the philosophy, like the play calling, pound the football, let your big guys up front try to clear some room. You don't have to get big 10, 15-yard gains, Bob. 3 or 4 yards at a time, that's going to move the chains for you. They used every down on that set of downs, and it worked.
So for the first time tonight, Danville is inside the Plaza House Furniture red zone. Keeping it on the ground. Millar all the way to the 10.
Great kick out block by Ken Cooper for the Ironmen. Cleared that left side, opened up the hole. Cooper, of course, just had the interception as well. He's making a big play up front for the Ironmen. And look at this. Southern hasn't faced adversity very much this season.
Not
except
at all.
Against Mount Carmel for maybe a little bit, but they could go down here early at home, which would be a very big moral victory for the Ironmen.
Danville led Lewisburg 21-0 last week before Lewisburg made a little run. Feldman with room, left side, taken down inside the 10, but he has a first down. First and goal, Ironman.
Again, not only are they moving the chains, Bob, they're moving the clock. And they're keeping possession. And you know, we heard Coach Kaiser during the week say that. You got to keep the ball out of Southern's hands. You do that with a good, strong running game. And off the turnover, we're seeing that here on this drive.
Despite maybe Danville saying they're not playing well, they do average 30 points per game. The freshman caught behind the line of scrimmage. Max Tillett, the sophomore, brings him down.
Nice play by Tillett. He didn't get fooled on the fake handoff. It was a bootleg. I like the play call, though, because he's been running, you know, pretty steady to the left, right side, pulling the guard, pulling the linemen, and this time they try to catch Southern off guard. But there's the quickness of the Tigers right there. Tillett, just a sophomore again, gets to the outside and makes the play in the backfield.
Little bobble, go to the air. Ball's on the turf, still along. Finally recovered by Ryan Palm, but Danville will have the ball outside the 23-yard line.
Not sure what happened with the snap there, but definitely threw the timing off the play. And obviously, that allowed Southern Columbia's pass rush to get in there. And really, if you think about it, he didn't have much of a chance. I don't care if he's a freshman or a senior. Caden Riley just was kind of a dead duck there. And luckily for Danville, they got the football back, but now sitting outside the red zone.
Danville lists the place kicker as the quarterback. Not sure what kind of leg he has. Jared Mowry also, who did the kickoff. Like I said, a little screen to Palm. He gets a block, cuts it inside to about the 18, and it's 4th down.
Safe passing play there, just a little, you know, they let the rush come in, threw over the pass rusher's hands, and actually I thought they had a chance for a bigger play there. His block was to the outside. He cut it back inside, and that allowed the tackler for Southern Columbia to make the play. He's going to read his block a little bit better on that. And I'm not saying he would have got into the end zone, but definitely maybe 4 or 5 yards closer for this field goal attempt.
So here is Mowry, number 51. Holder, number 12, Gannon Feldman, 34-yarder. It is up. He's got good leg. And it's through. So Danville converts the interception into points, and they lead the Tigers 3-0.
We're the Danville Cheerleaders, and you're watching high school
The Ironmen take a 3-0 lead over Southern Columbia after the Cooper interception. I dare to say, Chris, probably the first time they've trailed in the first quarter all season. Mowry with a nice strong leg. They're not going to kick it to Fleming at all. They actually hit one of the up men, and they'll give up the field position. Probably a strong idea. Southern comes out second possession now, right at the 40.
Well, that's a nice job by Danville taking advantage of the turnover. Things didn't look good after that fumble, but they managed to get some yardage back and then kick the field goal in a 3-0 lead. That's a very big victory for Danville getting the turnover.
Let's see if Southern goes right back to that ground game. Garcia has not carried it yet. In fact, he's on the outside on the wing. They get it to Fleming. Fleming with the speed. Fleming down the sidelines. Touchdown, Southern Columbia. Julian Fleming, 60 yards. And that's a Plaza House touchdown, our first of the game.
Yeah, couple Ironmen had a chance at him, but one, you saw the stiff arm to get to the outside, and then it was just speed from here on out. You can see why he is considered a Division I prospect, just a great athlete, a great run. And just like that, Southern negates that Danville momentum with a quick touchdown.
Get it to the playmakers. And for Southern, that's Fleming and Garcia. Making it look easy is Fleming. Hoffman on the extra point. And Southern says, we don't trail often. We're not going to trail for long. They take a 7-3 lead.
Yeah, that's what championship teams do, Bob. I mean, 3-0. Yeah, that's not a big deficit, but nonetheless, you don't want to let an underdog stay in the game. Danville's still in this game, obviously. It's early, but if that 3-0 lingers for a while, and then it becomes, you get a touchdown, but it's at the end of the second quarter, and it just stays a close game. Obviously, Coach Kaiser's telling them, listen, we're down 4 points. We did a pretty good play on defense, forced a turnover, turned it into points. Let's get our offense going here. Let's keep some ball possession. And listen, we're in this game. It's early, but we're still in this game, and got to go out and execute.
Well, let's see if Southern will kick it to the three deep threats, and Kozik and Persing each have a touchdown this year on the kickoff. We saw what Danville wanted to do there. They're not going to get it to Fleming at all. You saw why on the touchdown. So Hoffman will tee this one up, 7-3 Southern Columbia. We're in the first quarter in this Heartland Conference Division II showdown. The other undefeated team in the Heartland Division II, Central Columbia, facing a tough South Williamsport team tonight. Southern goes to Central next week. In fact, this is Southern's last regular season home game here at Tiger Stadium. So we have it teed up. Hoffman will kick it deep. This is Kozik from his 6. Kozik shoots through and almost broke it. He's out to the 31. Sunbury Motors impact players for the Ironman, Chris.
Well, obviously, Caden Riley, the freshman quarterback, is somebody we're going to keep an eye on. How much of an impact he's going to have is, I think, how he stops mistakes. Obviously, defensively, Mowry and Yeager are going to make a lot of plays on defense, but they're going to have to be a little bit better against some of this team speed of Southern Columbia, what we just saw in that last touchdown run.
And we haven't seen Yeager yet, but he does have 40 tackles on the defensive side. So here's Riley and company back out. KJ, the freshman's thrown for 126 yards in a couple starts. He'll keep it on the ground. Student body left, give it to Feldman. Feldman does have 428 yards on the ground. He averages over 5 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns.
And Danville's keeping it simple, Bob. I mean, they've run that same play probably 4 or 5 times here in this first quarter, and I don't have a problem with that. You got to do what you do best, and especially with a freshman quarterback. The playbook's going to be shrunk down a little bit. Coach Kaiser's going to keep it simple, and so far they've done that.
He just throws it out, and it's easily intercepted by Fleming. Bad throw from the freshman. Fleming, ridden down inside the 20.
Nice job again by Fleming. Just once he made the pick, he got some return yardage too to set Southern Columbia up here. So we're seeing Fleming's impact here quickly. The touchdown run, now the interception, and that was a freshman throw right there, Bob. He had a receiver open, just overthrew him right into the hand of a Tiger.
Southern looking to cap on this interception. Now it's Garcia's turn. Danville right there, couple yards at best. They're in the Plaza House red zone.
Yeah, you were hoping if you were Danville, you could extend that last drive a little bit, maybe get to the end of the first quarter only down 7-3, and then that turnover obviously changes the complexion here as Southern is knocking on the door once again. Let's see if maybe the Ironmen can get a stop here. And you know, again, Southern hasn't been stopped too much this year, Bob, especially with their starters in the game. So this is a very big challenge for the Ironman defense.
Quarterback draw. Hollenbach up to the 6, close to a first down. He can run it as well. Has 138 yards this season. A couple touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, he can run the ball. He can throw the ball. I mean, he's exactly the type of quarterback that fits this Southern offense, Bob, and he can be a weapon even though there's a lot of weapons around him as well.
He's another Division I prospect. He's already has an offer from Bucknell. On the ground. Big push. Garcia, not much room. 2nd and goal. Back to Hollenbach. He threw for over 2,100 yards last season. That's a school record. He has over 1,000 yards through the air. And he barely even has thrown the ball in the second half, Chris, this year.
Yeah, and their starters don't play very much in games. They never play 4 quarters except against Mount Carmel. That's when you blow people out, you get the other guys' experience, and your starters stay fresh.
Quarterback can't get to the outside. Yeager catching up to him. 3rd and goal.
Not sure if that was a broken play or not, Bob. It looked like Hollenbach wasn't sure that he was even supposed to run the football. Finally realized, well, I have to. And I think that allowed Danville to get some penetration and make a play. Big defensive play coming up for the Ironmen here. If they can get a stop here on 3rd down, it's going to force Coach Roth to make a decision. And obviously, field goals would be a great thing for this Danville defense after a turnover.
They're going to go to the air with time. In and out of the hands of a Tiger, but the catch is made, but out of bounds. And that was Preston Zachman who caught it out of bounds. 4th down, and here comes the field goal team.
Good coverage by the Ironmen. The ball deflected right into the hands of a Tiger, but he was already on the ground laying out of bounds. Kind of had to come back to where the ball ended up and just couldn't keep his feet in.
Hoffman in, well within his range. He has a 37-yarder. This will be a 24-yarder. From the left hash, it is up, and it is good. Southern Columbia converts the interception from Danville into 3 points of their own, and they've scored 10 straight now, and they lead by 7. About a minute left in this first quarter.
Well, Southern does their job. They get points off the turnover. I'm sure they would have preferred a touchdown, but nonetheless, they extend the lead back to a touchdown. But again, that's a big stop for Danville, Bob. Again, keeping this game close in the first half, especially with the freshman quarterback. He made one mistake now. Maybe he'll settle down a little bit, because that's what he really has to do. He has to manage the game. He doesn't have to make plays to win the game. He's going to make plays so it doesn't contribute to losing the game. And that's hard. It's a lot to put on a 14, 15-year-old kid. And, you know, he made his mistake. Let's see if he bounces back from it.
Coach Jim Roth, 34th season with Southern Columbia, 402 wins overall. Third in the state, all-time wins behind George Curry and Jack Henzis, 2 coaches from District 2. But Coach Roth is a young 61. He may coach for a long, long time, and he may catch George Curry before his time is done here with Southern Columbia. 7 state championships he has led this team to. The last one in 2015. Last season, of course, they lost in the finals, Chris, at Hershey.
They've won 7 state titles. They've been to a ton more, too.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And that's an accomplishment in itself. You say, well, they lost those games. Doesn't matter. You know how hard it is to get to a state title game? It is very hard. This program has been the best at it in the state.
They seem they want to go to Kozik's side. He picks it up from the 12. Oh, he has speed. He gets to the outside. Inside Tiger territory goes Kozik. Knocked out of bounds around the 35.
A lot of times you give credit to the return man. I'm going to give credit to the blocking up front. They really did a good job. Kozik had to run a long way because he came all the way across the field. But once he got around the corner, then it became a foot race. Good pursuit by Southern to not let him get into the end zone. But that was a well-blocked kickoff. Guys staying on their blocks for the Ironmen, and they set themselves up with great field position.
That's been a weapon all year long for this Danville team. They have struggled on offense, but the special teams, especially in their Mount Carmel game, stepped up. Kozik 2 touchdowns this year through kickoffs. Gives them good field position. They go back to the ground game. Millar lost a yard. Toyota key to the game. And Chris, you mentioned this a little bit already. Danville has to keep their offense on the field.
Absolutely. I mean, when you have an offensive juggernaut on the other side, not only do you have to score, you have to keep possession. And so far, they've done a decent job. The turnover obviously hurt them, but they've moved the chains a couple times here, and that's good news for Danville's offense.
Little quick out taken by Kozik, and he's wrapped up quickly. 3rd down on the way.
And I think that's the type of patterns they're going to have to use with him, just to, again, keep confidence and short passes, high percentage passes, and that one was a nice, well, a big game, but it was a nice gain and a confidence booster for him.
Danville trails by 7, but they have the ball in Tiger territory. After 1, Southern Columbia 10, Danville 3.
You're watching Wendy's Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
Welcome back, and I'm here with girls varsity soccer captains, Kristen, Paige, Anna, and Madison. And Kristen, can you tell me about the big game you guys won last night?
Well, it won us the Division III League Championship, which is a really big deal for us because we haven't won it since 2013, which was like our team back then. We went to the state championship and we lost in a hard-fought battle, but last night we won in a hard-fought battle here. It was an overall team effort. They scored first, but we regrouped right away and we told ourselves, like, we're confident, we're here to win this tonight, and that's what we did. We played 2 overtime periods. In the second overtime period, we finally found the back of the net, and that's what we needed the whole night. So it was a great feeling, I know, for the whole team, not just us. So, yeah.
Congratulations. And you guys just started playing on the new field. How has the turf been?
The turf is actually surprisingly really nice. At first, we were all kind of nervous about like the change of pace and stuff like that, but going from like a wider field to a narrow field was something we had to adjust to, but I think we've done a really good job with it, and it's been fun.
So you guys are here supporting the football team. Does the football team come to your games and support you guys?
Oh, absolutely. They've been here for a bunch of our home games, but last night they really came out and they brought a student section with us, so we're here tonight returning the favor to them because they really deserve it.
All right, well, good luck, girls, in the rest of your season. Back to you, Bob.
Thank you, Emma, and good luck to the Southern Columbia girls soccer team the rest of the season. As you saw, Chris, Mowry trying a 49-yard field goal wide left.
Yeah, it was unfortunate to get the great kickoff return, but can't turn that into points.
So back to the ground game. Mrs. Garcia. Danville's there, 3 yards.
Good defensive play that time by Ryan Palm. Comes up and gets Garcia by the feet, and sometimes just got to hold on until you get some help from their teammates, and that's exactly what Palm did to limit the gain.
Garcia, 5 games over 100 yards this season already. He had 176 versus Milton and 3 touchdowns. That's his big game this season. Here now, the Southern Columbia offense brought to you by Toyota. We didn't talk about Cox a lot, but does have 3 touchdowns on the ground. Backs and receivers, we've seen Garcia. Heim has touched the ball, but Galunas is the tight end. And up front, they had everybody back from last year. Bigger, stronger, and the most experienced group they have on the field for the Tigers. Little quick out to get it to Garcia, but a great tackle on the outside. That is Ryan Palm. You mentioned him, Chris, and he comes up with 2 big defensive plays.
Well, this is a nice stop by the Ironmen here. They really are doing one thing that you have to do against a good football team. That's making sure they make tackles. And a lot of times you see the arm tackles, or you see they don't wrap. But so far, Danville's been very impressive fundamentally in their tackling, and that's why Southern right now is limited to only 10 points on the scoreboard.
Fleming on the field for only his 3rd punt this season, and it's a low line drive. We saw him in practice, and he was booting some 30-yarders. And this one rolls down to the 35-yard line. And Danville does their job on defense. Can they get the offense going, Chris? That's the question, I think.
I think they have to stick with the game plan here. I mean, pound the football, run clock. You know, don't give too many 3 and outs. And they've done a decent job with that so far. Again, they didn't get points off the kickoff return. Now they're going to have to string together some first downs here to get some field position back.
There's Jim Kaiser's 8th season here with the Ironmen. So they put Riley back into the shotgun. Try to get it to Kozik. He can't turn the corner, but he picks up about 3-4 yards. Oh, a late hit by Fleming. That's a flag. And he threw him into the bench. And he's down. Kozik's down on this side.
Yeah, that's the tough part, too, about a close sideline here. You'll see him. He gets to the outside, wrapped up, and then thrown down into the bleachers. You know, obviously, you got to let go there as soon as the contact is made, Bob. And a little extra throw gets the penalty marker, but also you got to worry about the player at this point. Throwing down hard is one thing. Throwing down hard into a metal bench, that's not good for anybody.
Well, I'm sure Coach Roth is not happy about that either. Not only does it give up the 15 yards, but one of his top players. That's the unsportsmanlike penalty. And this will give Danville field position inside Tiger territory up to the 46. But the biggest concern is Kozik. He's one of their playmakers over there.
Absolutely. He's already made some plays in this game, and hopefully he's okay. Again, not trying to absolve the defensive player, Bob, because it was definitely a penalty. But, again, look how close the benches are to the white area where you're supposed to stand behind. Not much room there. It's not a big field surface here at Southern Columbia. You got the track right behind it. That's good to see Kozik back up on his feet, and hopefully he's just nicked up a little bit.
I think it's his left arm, if anything. It looks like he's favoring that. So we'll have to check on him, see if how he makes out on the far sideline. Now let's see if Danville can take advantage. Again, inside Tiger territory. They've been there quite often. They've had the field position. They just haven't converted much. Just a field goal to show. Get it to Persing. He has good speed. He shoots through. Pick up a 5.
So on these first couple drives, we saw the Ironmen kind of go off tackle, bounce off the tight end side, This drive, we're seeing those jet sweeps, so they're trying to get their speed involved here. Obviously, that's not easy against Southern Columbia, who's got equally fast players on the other side of the field. But I give the Ironmen credit. They've blocked it pretty well, gotten decent gains. You'll take 5 yards on first down.
The Tigers, yielding just 7 points per game this season, have 2 shutouts. Try the same play. Persic gets the corner. Up and hit out of bounds. A first down, or at least close to it.
Again, they run the jet sweep. Some penetration by Southern Columbia this time, although there is a penalty marker down, Bob, and I think they got Danville on a hold. I thought I saw it in the initial play and didn't see a flag initially come out.
Boy, on the offense, repeat second down.
Ed Reeser is our referee tonight. District 4. Positive play now is going to come back.
Yeah, one of the Ironmen when you grab the shirt out in open space like that, you don't keep the hands in. Referee sees that, flag's going to come out every time.
You have to limit your mistakes tonight if you're Danville.
Yeah, here's the thing. You're playing a superior team. Everybody knows that. This is the #1 team in the state. Mistakes have to be at a minimum. Turnover, we already saw it. Penalty there. You have to play, not a perfect game, but a close to perfect game if you want to win this football game tonight.
Well, they get it out quickly. Welliver makes the catch. Back to the original line of scrimmage. And it brings up 3rd and long.
You saw they faked the jet sweep here this time. They've run it 3 times on this drive, and now the little pass to the outside. It was a good throw, good catch on the contact from the defender, and held on and got some of that penalty yardage back.
Under pressure is the freshman. They take him down for a sack. You knew they were going to try that. Andrew Bell gets his first sack of the season, and this will force Danville to punt.
Yeah, this is obviously a 3rd and long situation, and Southern Columbia just brings a big pass rush, and just Danville can't block it. So the 2nd sack of the game for Southern, and Danville have to punt it away.
Good high kick from Mowry. And taking it is Garcia. He's taken down. It's a hard-hitting game tonight in this rivalry. And Southern's back out onto the field, up past the 30.
Well, the Southern fans didn't like that, but you can throw a guy down, just can't throw him into a bench. You see here, he's still in bounds. He's not down one knee, and it's a football play.
Ryan Browse with the stop. So the Tigers back on the field, their own 32, up 7. And we have a timeout on the field called by Danville. And we'll take a quick timeout ourselves. We're midway through the 2nd quarter.
We're the Southern Columbia Cheerleaders, and you're watching high school football on My TV, WQNY.
Southern Columbia Cheerleaders welcoming us back and on the carry. Not much running room for Jeff Cox. Yard at best.
Good job by the Danville defense, fullback getting his first carry, and nowhere to go. Got a yard, maybe.
Danville, of course, running that 3-5 type defense. Coach worried about that. Hallenbeck back. A lot of time. Going deep to Garcia. That goes incomplete. What the fans are yelling about is a hold. They thought Fleming should have been called, because covering him back deep was number 34. And that was Ryan Palm.
Yeah, Fleming got held, tackled, Held by the shirt, held by the... He wasn't going to get away, but the problem was the ball wasn't going to him. Not saying it should have been a flag, but the referee's attention's on the ball going in the middle field, not the sidelines, and no call on the play. It's one way to stop Fleming, I guess.
Hey, if he could get away with it, right? Hollenbach back again. He's going to throw it up for Fleming. This time Fleming catches it. Inbounds inside the 30 in Danville territory.
And, you know, Ryan Palm's doing his best back there, Bob, but Fleming just too fast, too athletic, just runs right past him. Had to hold up just a little bit to get the ball on the sideline. Palm made a good job of at least not letting him get in the end zone, but they knew they had him the first time. On the first play, he would have been open. This time, Palm can't get the hold or anything else to stop him, and it's a big play to Julian Fleming.
40 yards. Credit the Tiger coaching staff going right back to the air and right back at Ryan Palm. Fleming, the Wildcat, yard loss.
Nice job that time defensively for Danville. I think that was number 22, Zach Zerby, who got in there and made a sure tackle. And Fleming kind of was dancing a little bit, trying to find somewhere to run, and that's not a good speed for him, Bob. When he's fast, he's hard to bring down. When he slows himself down, it makes it a little easier for the defense, and Zerby definitely came in and made a short tackle.
Zerby just 5'8", 172, the nose tackle. How about Garcia trying to get the edge? He does. And he's knocked out of bounds inside the 15. So Southern Columbia now in the Plaza House Furniture red zone.
Watch how he gets the corner here, Bob. The little stiff arm on Welliver. That's enough to get him around. Then he does a little hesitation there, lets the would-be tackler go by him, gets about 6 or 7 more yards. That's listen, it's an experienced running back who's only a sophomore. That's kind of a catch-22 there, isn't it?
Yeah.
An oxymoron, I guess it would be.
A sophomore that ran for over 1,000 yards
Right,
last
exactly.
year.
He's only a sophomore, but he's got that experience.
This is Rodarmo. Bruised hand and all. A loss of 3. Great tackle on the outside. I think Zerby again.
No, that was actually Kozik, Bob.
Okay.
They got out there. They stretched the play out. That's a nice job by the defense, stretching it out, stretching it out. You saw a couple guys in there, Mowry, Yeager, forced the back just to keep going east and west instead of north and south, and good tackle.
Well, Danville's going to try to limit their big plays for Southern Columbia.
Well, they got the one big play in, but otherwise it's been pretty good.
Hollenbach to the air. Going to go out to Fleming. It was wide open. It goes through his hands. Looked like the pass might have been a little bit wide. It was at the 5-yard line.
Well, they had Fleming isolated. He didn't go to the end zone, Bob. He pulled up on the route and headed to the sidelines. Obviously, he makes that catch. He still has a chance to get in the end zone. Now it's 3rd and long. And let's see what Danville does defensively here. Do they try to bring pressure, or do they try to double cover Fleming? They haven't given the defensive back who's covered Fleming too much help. Palm has been there most of the time, but one-on-one situation, Danville's not going to win that battle very often.
This is where Southern's dangerous. A lot of weapons. Hollenbach back over the middle. Good defensive play.
Yeah, the Ironmen only rushed, I think, 2 guys, Bob. They dropped everybody back in coverage. The ball deflects off the would-be receiver, and Danville might get another stop here. At least they're going to force a field goal, and give the Ironmen credit. They're playing tough here, Bob. I mean, again, with a freshman quarterback, yes, their offense is going to be limited. That's why you only see 3 up on the board, but they're not letting Southern run away with this.
Hoffman in for his second field goal attempt. He made the first one. This will be 35 yards. Left hash. It looks straight, and it is good. So 2 field goals up on the board for Hoffman and company, and Southern now extends their lead to 10. So I think Danville wants to just keep it close, just within distance, and hopefully they can get a big play. And
Yeah,
right now they're doing that.
You know, normally when you're down 13-3, it's like, woe is me.
Yeah.
But I don't think so in the case of Danville here. I mean, they've played a pretty good half so far. And again, they're going to have to find some way to get the ball into the end zone. It's not going to be easy. Southern's defense, like we mentioned, much improved from last year. Experienced now. The younger players have a year under their belt. They've got that senior leadership mixed in. But to limit Southern to 13, you keep yourself in the game mentally, Bob, and that's what Danville has done. I mean, let's face it, Southern has shown why they're the #1 team in the state, why they have a 58-game winning streak. You see the talent out there. But Danville's answering some punches from the Tigers, and I think that's a good sign for Coach Kaiser.
Well, Danville's no slouch. They lead the 3A standings in District 4. They're in the playoffs. They've already secured a home game. Hey, you would think they're the favorite to win it. Will Hoffman kick it deep to either Persing. I don't see Kozik out there. We saw him on defense, but I don't see him deep to receive. I see Persing back there. And it looks like so they do kick this one deep to the left-hand side. This is Cleese. So Ethan Cleese, the junior, brings it up for the Ironmen. They come back on the field. Another Toyota key to the game for the Danville team, Chris, limit the turnovers.
Yeah,
so far they have just that one interception from Riley.
Yeah, and again, let's put it this way. Danville say, well, we got it out of the way. No more, though. They can't afford any more at this point, down 10 points.
This Danville team, 360 yards per game, so they can do it on the offensive side. They give it to Palm. Palm taken down from behind by Galunas. Southern will get the ball to begin the second half. You would like to see Danville get some kind of points and maybe put a drive together here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Bob. What you'd like to do is get some first downs. And don't give Southern the ball back here in this half, because like you just mentioned, it's like a double possession then. You know, and so first downs here are essential for Danville. Don't have to score, be nice, but they got to get some. They got to get some movement with the chains.
Feldman for a couple, so third down again, awaiting this Ironman team, and they're not getting it to the outside like they were in their last possession, Chris. Mostly going off tackle right now.
No, you know what? They're not holding their blocks like they did in their first possession. You saw right there, they had the kick out block, but that's who made the tackle. They got to hold their blocks at least till they get past the initial line of scrimmage and make the linebackers and the defensive backs come up and make plays.
Well, they go to the air. They keep it on the ground. And they do a good job with it, because here's Millar into the open. Millar inside Tiger territory, knocked down at the 36-yard line. And that's a big play the Ironmen were looking for.
You know, you asked the question, Bob, should they go to the air here? And I'm shaking my head. No, keep it on the ground where your strength is. And look at that nice cutback. That's a beautiful run that time for Danville from Millar. Not only does he get the first down, but he gets them into Southern territory. So now, not only thinking running clock, Bob, now you're thinking maybe we can get some points on the board.
33-yard gain for the junior. Danville's been here tonight. They haven't put up a touchdown yet. Feldman doing his best inside the 25.
Body language tells a lot. It really does, Bob. And the body language I'm seeing from Danville is they're not intimidated. They know who they're playing against. They're running hard. They're blocking hard. Southern's giving them everything they can handle, too. Southern is not taking this Danville team lightly, but Danville's doing a good job here of executing, and that's important when you play one of the best teams in the state.
This is not unfamiliar territory. They've been in Tiger territory tonight, but they haven't scored a touchdown. Oh, and this time, Millar's hit hard. No gain on the play.
Better job that time by the Southern defense. They didn't get caught up with the blocks, the kick-out blocks. I think that was Tyler Bendis that got in there.
Also Halliday, the Cal. Number 28 is in on the tackle.
So, again, that was a better job of defending that play. But look at that clock, Bob. It's coming down up to 2 minutes. Not that if Southern gets the ball back, even with a minute, You know, again, that's a chance to score. But if Danville get one more first down here, they can control this clock the rest of the half.
Trying to get it to the fullback, Ryan Palm.
Bendis just crashed hard on the play and nowhere to go. Now we have an injured Ironman there. So some of the skill players for Danville are getting banged up here. And obviously already you lost your quarterback last week. And now, as you can see, Coach Kaiser a little bit concerned there. He's like, what can happen next to us? And
that might be Palm who had the ball, Chris.
Yeah.
Of course, they've already lost their starting quarterback, Peyton Riley. He's out for the season with an arm injury. They're banged up just like any other team this time of the season. But again, what Coach Kaiser talked about is just the depth. That
looks like almost like a little body slam there by Quinton.
Palm is walking around, so I don't know who the injured player is. I can't get a number.
Here you see the junior quarterback doing his own coaching to coach. You love to see him still involved in the game. I'm sure he's disappointed he couldn't play in this game, and I'm sure he's helping out his brother, Bob. But
that looks like Ryan Palm, 34. Or is it browse nope, they're 34, and they're not putting any pressure on that leg. So that's a big loss for Danville. Riley back, a little quick out. Trying to hit C's, incomplete. Fourth down on the way now.
And there, you know, Riley felt the pressure, Bob, and he never set his feet. That's why the throw sailed on him a little bit. Unfortunately for Danville in that situation, in the third and long, they decide to get away from the running game, give the freshman a chance, but what that does is stop the clock now. And they're going to try another field goal, another long field goal here. We've seen a lot of field goal attempts in this game.
Anthony Chicatano goes out for Southern. Mowry, long kick again. Looks like, what, a 40-some yarder, 44-yarder, was well short. So again, Danville comes up with no points inside Tiger territory. They only have those 3 points right now in the first half, Chris. How can that start on a team, you know, mentally? How does that feel mentally?
For Southern?
For Danville.
Well, for Danville, they're feeling pretty good, but they have to get one more stop here before halftime because 13-3 looks a lot better than 23. You know what I mean? I mean, you're down 2 scores right now as we look at the schedule for Southern Columbia coming up. You know, obviously those games you mentioned in the pregame, Bob. Central, Columbia, and Selinsgrove will be 2 tough matchups after this very worthy opponent.
Hollenbach trying to get out. He's taking a big hit. That is Jeff Cox. That was a legal play. And let's see it again in slow motion.
That is a great football hit. He sat back in the zone and just wrapped and lifted him right off his feet. Southern's going to go quick here, Bob.
They get out to Garcia.
Keep him in bounds if you can, and they do, and there's a penalty
they're going to face mask out there.
Coach Kaiser doesn't like the call. I think he wants a holding penalty. This will stop the clock as well for Southern. I believe they have
all 3 timeouts left.
So yep. That's not a big factor right now.
Stop clock!
Yeah, they're asking to stop the clock, so they're going to have to probably reset it here.
Face mask. Going to go against Danville, so that will tack on.
Oh, yeah, face mask on the defense. Inside 2 minutes, we'll start on the snap.
Coach Kaiser not happy with that at all. It's a 5-yard variety. Now, Southern going to go quickly. They could be dangerous here.
I think they have to reset the clock here, or do they have a player with an equipment problem maybe?
No, I think you're exactly right. I think Coach Roth is looking up towards us. So we 107. left in the game. No pressure. Hollenbach all day. Going to go long over the middle. He overthrows intended receiver, Heim.
Good coverage by Welliver there. I mean, wasn't a bad throw by Hollenbach. He just had to deliver it perfect, and because of the good coverage and just over the outstretched arms of his receiver. And clock will remain stopped.
You would think Southern is going to try to get it to, they have to get Fleming the ball at least once here.
I'm surprised, yeah.
But he's got double coverage. They have two guys on Fleming. They have the cornerback and safety on that side. Hollenbach trying to set up a screen.
Ooh.
They get it. They get it to Cox. Cox with room. Dragged down. Big play. 32-yard line.
Well executed by the Tigers on the screen play. They was it 5 or 6 black shirts out there, and they're going to go quickly once again. That was a nice play by Southern Columbia.
They're taking Fleming out of the game, I should say. Heim gets it on the reverse, and he's taken down. And there's that Zerby kid again.
Yeah, Browse was in there. Zerby, and Southern's going to take a timeout here and try to regroup, as there was a loss on that play.
So Jim Roth takes a Sunbury Motors timeout. His team trying to extend their lead. Danville took the early lead 3-0 on a field goal after an interception on the first possession for Southern. But since then, it's been all Tigers. A couple field goals and a Fleming touchdown. And that's where we stand right now. 42 seconds left in the half. Bob I, Chris Kaharski, and Emma Henzis. Here at Jim Roth Field, the brand new turf is beautiful, Chris, and they've been using it since the beginning of the season. It's a multi-purpose field, as we heard, with the girls' soccer team.
Yeah, it's a great facility here in Southern.
Not often you see the coach and the field named after the same time, when they're. But when you're Jim Roth.
Well, two things about that. Either, well, you have to be successful, obviously, because that means you've stayed at a place a very long time. And, you know, if you do the Mount Rushmore of coaches, high school coaches in Pennsylvania, Jim Roth is definitely a candidate to be on that.
Absolutely. So after the timeout, second down. Hollenbach to the air. Looking Fleming's way, he's double covered, and he's taken down for a sack. Mr. Zerby, first sack of the season. Timeout Southern.
Fleming's getting a little frustrated too. He ran back to the huddle here. His shoulder pad is out. They're really trying to get physical with him, and that's just great coverage by Danville, though. Overall, nothing Hollenbach can do. There was just nobody open, and the blocking was good initially. It just eventually it breaks down. And give Danville's defense credit. They're holding tough here.
Jim Roth ran out to the field, pointing at the referee downfield on this side that Fleming's been running on. He's double teamed, and you mentioned he did get manhandled a little bit. No flag down. So Danville taking Fleming out of the game, and going to force Southern to use some of their other weapons.
And I would do the same thing. I got to be honest with you. I mean, listen, you get called for what would you rather, 15-yard penalty or a 50-yard touchdown? There's our rankings. Steel Valley, the defending champion, who beat Southern Columbia in the state championship game. And Steel Valley lost a lot to graduation, but they're still one of the favorites over in Pittsburgh area. Wilmington, a pretty good team, a good program out of District 10. But right now, Southern Columbia, no doubt, the team to beat in Class 2A.
So third and long on the way, facing the Tigers. Hollenbach, right down the middle. In the seam, caught. No signal yet. They say touchdown Southern Columbia. That's a Plaza House touchdown for the Tigers. And not Fleming, but Preston Zachman. First touchdown of the year for the sophomore.
Well, again, they're going to double team Fleming. Other players have to step up, and this is a great throw by Hollenbach. Perfect spiral, and just led his receiver and give Zachman credit. Beat the coverage, and Southern does get that victory, or that moral victory of getting a touchdown here, and that's going to deflate the Ironmen a little bit.
There was a flag on the play, Chris, and it was called holding on Danville.
Holding away will be assessed on the kickoff.
So Hoffman on for the extra point try. 29 seconds left. 19 straight up on the board for Southern Columbia. Low snap, it's held, and the kick is up and through. So Hoffman gives them 20, and it's now a 17-point lead for Southern Columbia, looking to remain undefeated and keep their consecutive win streak alive.
Well, it's funny how things work in high school football. Danville is fighting. They're giving everything they can have. They're not even playing a bad game, Bob, but they're down 17. That's just because that's how good Southern Columbia is. It's not even that the Tigers aren't playing well, I mean, but they're taking advantage of the situations when they get a chance, and some big scoring plays in this game. And, you know, again, that's why they are so good. They don't have to look pretty to put up the points. And 20 points, yeah, is that low for them in the first half? Absolutely. That's a credit to Danville. But nonetheless, a 17-point lead, anybody will take that going into halftime. And we'll see if that's the way this half ends up.
So that penalty assessed on this kickoff on the holding, and Hoffman will kick it off at the 50. Well, Danville has had their opportunities inside Tiger territory, and give credit to the Southern defense, Chris, because they've held Danville to 3 field goals. 1 they made, 2 they missed. I expect this one to go into the end zone. Of course, Danville challenged with that freshman quarterback, and Southern is taking advantage of that. Caught in the end zone, and it will be coming out for a touchback. And you saw coming up at the halfway, we have a Fox 56 News First at 10 halftime update. Emma has an interview with W&L Subaru, and then Chris and I will be back with some stats and highlights from a very entertaining first half. I expect Southern here to take a knee, or excuse me, Danville to take a knee. And they do. Tigers get the ball, though, in the third quarter to start. Time ticks down in Southern Columbia. Even though they trailed early 3-0, they scored 20 unanswered. And let's get to Emma, who has Coach Roth. Emma?
Coach Roth, this game has been considerably close for you guys since you guys have been winning by so much this season. Are there any halftime adjustments you'll be making?
Well, we got to try to do a better job up front. Right now, we're having problems running the ball consistently, and Danville's defensive front's, creating some problems for us. If it wasn't for the passing game, obviously the score would be a lot closer. So that's our biggest concern right now, is to try to get our running game established a little better and get a little more consistency with running the football.
How does that touchdown at the end of the second quarter swing momentum your way?
Well, that's huge. I mean, they're double covering Fleming, obviously, and they're very in tune with wherever he is. And so we went backside to Preston Zachman, who's also a very good receiver, and Stone made a great throw to him.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Roth.
So Jim Roth taking his team up 20-3 in this Heartland Conference Division II showdown. We'll take our break, and when we return here back in the stadium, Emma has a special guest.
This is Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
Welcome back to the Danville Southern Columbia game. It's halftime, and the Southern Columbia Tigers are leading the Danville Ironmen 20-3. And I'm here with Andy Long, the owner of W&L Subaru. And Andy, W&L has a big event tomorrow. Can you tell us about it?
We have a huge event tomorrow. We're unleashing our all new 2018 redesigned Crosstrek for all our customers. And not to mention, we're going to have the SPCA on site. You can adopt a cat, a dog. It's going to be a great day. We're giving away prizes. We're going to have food trucks there, so if you're hungry, come on out to W&L Subaru. We'll feed you. We can look at some cars and see what we can do for you.
Besides the event tomorrow, what's new at W&L?
What's new at W&L? Oh my gosh. Well, we're building a brand new facility. We should be in it around beginning April 15th. It's a brand new building, all new service equipment. My employees are excited. I'm sure the customers are going to be really excited. They're actually going to have somewhere to park when they come into W&L.
All right, well, thank you so much, Andy. When we come back, we'll have first half highlights for you.
Well, welcome back to a rainy now Tiger Stadium. Southern Columbia leading Danville 20-0. We come inside the booth. Bob I, Chris Kaharski from Pennsylvania Football News and PAFootballnews.com. And Chris, kind of the game we wanted to see. Danville came out and led 3-0, but then Southern put up 20 straight.
Yeah, and again, Danville had some other opportunities and missed some long field goals, but the big play features of Southern Columbia's offense came out, especially in that second quarter, and obviously those are hard to stop on a consistent basis. Danville, I think, played pretty well defensively in the first half, but we saw those big plays by the athletes and the very good football players that make up this Southern Columbia offense. The
Ironmen challenged offensively, did get a little bit of a running game going, but every time they got into Tiger territory, Southern's defense put the clamp on.
Yeah, and they did a good job of staying away from the third and long situations. They didn't have many because that forces the pressure on your freshman quarterback. But again, they just couldn't get past the red zone, and those field goals, if you make them, it's a little bit closer, but any chance to win this game, they're going to have to try to find the end zone one way or another.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights we were able to get in that first half. The score already, Southern Columbia is up, and it's been a hard-hitting game, Chris. As you can see on that, Garcia taken down quickly, but then right to the air, Hollenbach finds his favorite receiver, Fleming.
Yeah, he hit him on two big pass plays in that first half, but they've been double, triple teaming Fleming, trying to make sure he's not the one that beats them. There you see Southern with a field goal. They had two in that first half, and again, some running game for Danville. It hasn't been, no big run. They actually had one pretty big run, but, they're getting 4 chunks of 4, 5, 6 yards, and that's okay. And here you see the screen pass to Cox. This was a big play on this drive, Bob, because it got them into striking distance down here. And, once again, Danville was tough, though. They get the sack. It looks like maybe they're going to stop this drive before half. But, Hollenbach is just, he's so good at finding an open receiver. And this time it wasn't Fleming, but it was Zachman. He finds him, and he gets into the end zone for that touchdown right before half, which was a huge momentum swing for Southern Columbia going into the locker room.
Yeah, that's a big one because they will get the ball to receive the third quarter kickoff. And, boy, you just see the weapons that the Tigers have. They take Fleming out of the game, double coverage. Garcia not doing what really Garcia does. But so they go to the air, and they hit a couple guys like Cox and Zachman, and it just shows the depth that Southern Columbia has.
Yeah, I mean, they can double and triple team Fleming all they want because there's other people who are going to pick up the slack, and they're just multi-talented at pretty much every position. And don't forget, again, Bob, they had such a good season last year with these kids as freshmen, sophomores, and that experience alone, getting to a state championship game, playing 4, 5, 6 extra games, it's only a season and a half last year.
Yep.
So they're ready to compete. There's no doubt, I think, that they are the favorite to get to Hershey on their side of the bracket again. Again, we're seeing this tonight. Danville's giving them everything they got, and they still have a 17-point lead.
That's right, and that's how tough Southern Columbia is. So Danville comes back out onto the field. See what Coach Kaiser had to say to them. Well, here comes Southern Columbia.
Bob, he's got two choices here. And obviously you want to try to win the game, but you're going to have to change what you were doing, and that's not going to play towards your strength. So do you get the quarterback some confidence? Because you got 2 more games after this before you head to your playoff run. Do you get him experience? You play this game like it's a 0-0 game. Again, not saying concede the game, but you stick with your game plan. Run the football, limit his passing to short dump passes, out patterns. Don't force him to have to make big plays. And, I think that's the way I would go. We'll see what Coach Kaiser does.
Well, Danville does have winnable games the next 2 games they do have against Shamokin and Warrior Run. They do lead the 3A standing District 4, brought to you by W&L Subaru. Loyal Sock really cannot catch them. Lewisburg is losing tonight, and Mifflinburg is taking on Shikellamy.
Yeah, it sets up well for them going into the playoffs because, like you mentioned, two very winnable games. It'll give them a chance to get the freshman quarterback, more experience going into those playoffs. And listen, I think even with him at quarterback, they're still the favorite to win 3A in District 4. And that's saying a lot about the surrounding cast around him. They're going to support him. They're going to carry him. Coach has confidence in him. He wouldn't put him in this situation if he doesn't think he can do the job, even as a freshman. So, you know, I think that this is going to be maybe not a win today, but I think in the long run, this is going to help the Ironmen when they get into the District 4 playoffs. And Caden Riley by then, well, he's going to be making more plays.
There's Coach Kaiser. Looking like Coach Belichick tonight with that hoodie on and the orange hat. We knew it was going to be a tough game, very physical game, and we've seen that from both sides. Kozik got hurt on one play. He came back. A couple other guys from Southern Columbia banged up.
Listen, Southern Columbia is a great football team. There's no doubt. Danville is a very good football team. These are two programs that have had a lot of success here in District 4 in the Heartland Conference. We knew we were going to see a competitive game, even though, you know, again, Danville's got a little bit of a disadvantage on offense. But you know, these are two teams that are going to make noise in their classification, and wouldn't be surprised we see these two teams winning district championships.
Yeah.
So this is not a surprise to me. It's not a surprise that Danville's hanging in there with Southern.
Not a surprise is that the Class A 4 standings, Seals Grove and Shikellamy. And also not a surprise, we see Fleming going back with Garcia. Will they kick it to him? They have not tonight. They rather give up the good field position. So we are ready for a second half here at Jim Roth Field, Tiger Stadium. We are in Catawissa, Columbia County. Next week we're on the road up to Tunkhannock, back to District 2. And Towanda gonna travel down. Another District 4 team. And they're right in the District 4 2A standings. Towanda, that is. So we'll be back up there next Friday night. And also coming up on Tuesday, we have high school soccer for you right here on MyTV. Scranton Prep taking on Lakeland. So we're getting down to that time of year, Chris. We're looking at the playoffs, and boy, we start predicting and who's going to be in the Eastern Final and who's going to be here. Still a lot of football left to play in the regular season. A little pooch by Maury. And Southern will have the ball around the 39-yard line. Chris, you have some stats from the first half?
Yeah, just some key stats. Let's look at that. Coach Roth mentioned before he went into the locker room at halftime that the passing game was clicking. They have to run the ball a little bit better. Hollenbach was 7 for 13, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Fleming was held to 2 catches, but 99 yards, Bob. That's 40, almost 50 yards a catch. So even only with 2 catches, look at the influence he had on the game. The freshman struggled. The quarterback, Riley, 3 for 7, 12 yards and an interception. And, you know, again, they ran the ball decent, Danville, in that first half, but they're going to have to do a better job.
Well, they do a better job. Garcia has the ball out to the outside. He has speed. Touchdown, Southern Columbia, first play of the second half. A 60-yard trot from Cage Garcia, and it's a Plaza House Furniture touchdown.
Yeah, that hurts. I mean, you give up that touchdown before halftime, and now the very first play from scrimmage here to begin the third. Southern breaks through with their running game. Hey, I'm sure that's what Coach Roth talked about. Got to get the running game going, boys. Got a nice downfield block. And then once he breaks to the outside, you can see there's linemen chasing him, Bob. And they're not going to catch Gage Garcia.
26 unanswered. Make that 27. Hoffman's kick is through. And Southern Columbia extends their lead now over the Ironmen to 24 points. are back. It didn't take long for Southern Columbia to put up a touchdown. Just 18 seconds into the third quarter, and the Tigers now lead 27-3. This one deep again to Cleese. Cleese showing some speed and some power, but he's ripped down. Up past the 30-yard line, and Emma had a chance to talk to Coach Kaiser, and what did he have to say, Emma?
Well, Coach Kaiser said not only are they fighting against the Tigers, they're fighting against injuries. Kozik is playing, but he's playing banged up. Ryan Palm is out for the rest of the game, and so is Peyton Persing. But he said he's not changing anything. He's just trying to find players that can fill in for these injured guys. That's all he said. So back to you, Bob.
Well, that's an interesting development. We didn't notice that Persing was out. That's a huge loss, one of our spotlight players. So who do they have left? They have Feldman. They go quickly to him. He is ripped down behind the line of scrimmage. That's a big loss, and a host of Tigers there.
Yeah, I mean, Emma just named 3 of their best offensive players, and already missing your quarterback. I mean, that's going to be hard for Danville to get this offense going. I mean, it was struggling in the first half with their better players, and again, Coach Kaiser has the right attitude. Just next man up. Let's see what you guys can do. We're going to give you an opportunity here, and again, I think they're playing more for the next 2 weeks, Bob, at this point, than trying to actually find a way to win this game.
Riley trying to go downfield to Kozik. Double cover down there.
Yeah, and I think they need to open up a little bit now, just to give him an opportunity to throw the ball. If he throws a pick, if he throws an incompletion at this point, I don't think it's a big deal. As you can see, Coach Kaiser's a little distraught right there. I think he's thinking to myself, we already are fighting an uphill battle playing the #1 team in the state, and I have my best players on the sidelines, and obviously that's disappointing, but not much you can do about injuries. That's part of football, and right now they haven't been able to, they're not going to have trouble overcoming that.
Checking the sidelines, I already see Persing in street clothes. So that obviously happened early on. So another couple losses, and we're next man up for Danville. We're forced to punt on 4th down. Garcia bobbles it, picks it up. After the brief fumble, he brings it up for about 10 yards. And here comes that Southern Columbia offense back on.
And don't forget, Bob, those players we mentioned that are injured, a lot of them play on defense too. So that's going to put a big hole in the Danville defense, especially in the secondary. So obviously it's going to be an uphill battle here for the Ironmen. Let's see how Southern approaches the second half now after the big touchdown run by Garcia. I think Coach Roth will keep to this run here and work on this running game like he mentioned it going into halftime.
Garcia again trying to get to the outside. Picks up a block. 9 yards. And this is what I think we'll see most of the evening now. This is typical now second half for Southern Columbia this season.
One thing you got to watch here, Bob, watch Fleming with the nice block to push out the cornerback there. Division I coaches are going to see things like that. He's got the speed, he's got the athleticism, but that's the things coaches look for. Can he block downfield? Is he willing, when he's not in the play, when the ball's not coming to him, is he helping his team in other ways? Is he running his patterns hard? Even if, you know what I mean? Like those things are the Division I coaches are looking at, and we saw it right there. Fleming is doing those things.
Cox ridden down by Fosnot. A couple of yards on that.
Well, Fosnot hasn't given up in this game, no doubt about it. He's still finding ways to get to the ball carrier. He was actually on that last touchdown run. He was one of the guys trying to chase Garcia down. Obviously, a little speed advantage for Garcia there against a lineman, but give Danville credit. They're still fighting hard up front.
Southern next week travels to Central Columbia. Hollenbach back, pressured and hit while he throws. Yeager got to him. Put him on his back. Third down out of the way.
Yeah, and Central Columbia is unbeaten, right, Bob?
They are going into tonight's game with South Williamsport, trying to get a score for you.
They know Coach Dennis, coached up in our neck of the woods for several years. He was a Berwick assistant and got that opportunity at Central Columbia, and he's built them into a pretty good football team here in 2017. So that's going to be a good test for the Tigers to have to head on the road.
So on the third down play, timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout ourselves. Welcome back to Catawissa, everyone. Bob I, Chris Kaharski, and Emma Hensis. Southern Columbia now leading 27-3 over the 6-1 Danville Ironmen. It's a third and long. Hollenbach from the shotgun. Not much pressure. A little quick in, I should say, to Fleming, and throw it off the mark. If he better throw, he had it.
Yeah, and it was a little to his outside, but Fleming got his hands on it. No, he's not going to say it was an easy catch, and he's got to show a little better with his body language there too, Bob. Even though it wasn't the best throw, just pop back up to the huddle and get ready for the next play. In this case, a punt.
Next play for Fleming is a punt. Little pooch kick. Oh, it's bobbled down there. But Brett McCaw, the sophomore, pulls it in. And it's actually the worst starting possession for Danville. It's at their own 10-yard line. You were talking about that Central Columbia game. They may fall from the unbeatens. They are losing to South Williamsport 14-3.
South is pretty good too.
They're very good.
They're a very good football team too. And
Gideon Green is a monster back out there.
No doubt about it.
Let's see if Danville can find any type of offense here. But their playmakers on the bench. Halliday with quick tackle. Joe Harris, a sophomore, carried that one.
Yeah, we're going to see, obviously, a new cast of characters here for Danville with all the injuries. This will be a good experience going against a tough defense like Southern's, but it's also going to be hard sledding for these young backs.
Shikellamy is beating Mifflinburg 34-7 for a 4A team. Chris, love the high school scene. Now I'm getting some smell of fried food.
There you go. I give thumbs up to the macaroni and cheese, Bob. I had it before the game.
Oh, did you?
Thumbs up. I didn't get you any, I'm sorry.
How'd you fit that in besides the sandwiches that we provided?
Yeah, they were all right, the sandwiches, but the macaroni and cheese was A+.
Was it? Okay. And this is a high school football atmosphere that you see around this state a lot, but boy, there's something special about being here in Southern Columbia.
Yeah, well, obviously tradition here.
Yeah.
You look up at the field house over there. It's got all the
False start on the offense. Still third down.
all the, not just the state titles, the Eastern Conference titles, the district titles. I mean, it's pretty intimidating if you're a team coming in here and you see all those titles there. And I'm sure that's one reason Coach Roth has them up on that board, not only to celebrate, but to give a message to opposing players. But new lights here. How about the LED lights they have here? I mean, maybe we can get a picture of them later. It's very interesting. You don't see the lights like you see them in a normal stadium. He's going nowhere on that one.
Well, there's Cal Halliday. Let's talk about this sophomore. 151 tackles a year ago, 4 sacks and an interception. And Chris, he was a freshman last year. Here you see the play he makes. He's going to be up around there already. It's 43 tackles coming in. 3.5 sacks and an interception. I mean, you're talking about special players all over the place.
I don't
Seems
know,
like every guy we talk about for Southern.
I don't know if you'll see a better freshman class from last year and a sophomore class this year anywhere in the state. I mean, this sophomore class is just outstanding. And it's not like they have 2 or 3 guys.
No.
They got 6 or 7 guys. Yeah. They're legitimate college football players on the next level, some at the Division I level. But it's amazing that young kids can be this successful this earlier in their careers.
Still a 24-point advantage for the Tigers. AA champs 2015. Back to the 2A championship a year ago. And looking to duplicate that this season. Heim brings it right in the middle of that tough Danville defense. And standing him up was Browse, Yeager, and company. Also Hugh Vastine in there, a 6'6 junior.
This game's kind of lost some of its oomph. I think it was a very exciting game in the first half, even though Southern started to pull away right before halftime. But I thought there was some intensity left. I think Gage Garcia's touchdown kind of took the wind out of the sails of Danville. As back to pass and complete to Fleming, his 3rd catch of the game.
Well, that's Kozik out there. He's definitely playing defense.
Yeah.
Not playing much offense. That was an easy pitch and catch.
Well, they're giving him a cushion, obviously. They don't want him to beat them with the speed. And it was a good open field tackle by Kozik because Fleming, he's strong too. That's one thing you see him, how big he is. And obviously he couldn't get away there, but he's over the 100-yard mark receiving once again for the Tigers.
Yeah, you see the Fleming, compared to what we saw last year as a freshman, he put up about 15 more pounds. He just looks bigger, and he's going to get into an athletic body. Sack. Shooting from the outside, Eric sees his first sack of the season.
Nice
if
job.
Danville has done anything tonight, they put on some pressure.
He actually beat 2 blockers there. The fullback came to chip him as well, and that's just a hustle play there. You love to see that in a game that maybe isn't close on the scoreboard, but your kids are still playing hard, and no doubt the Danville players are still fighting tooth and nail every play.
Third and long, quarterback keeper. Hollenbach up for about 4, and I think Fleming's going to have to punt again.
What'd you say?
Third down? Oh, it's third down. Sorry, I thought it was 4th.
Don't forget, you said Fleming punted 3 times coming into this game?
Twice.
Twice? So he's already doubled that
He's
in
doubled,
this game.
yep.
So there's another moral victory for Danville. I don't think most coaches don't care about moral victories, Bob, to be honest with you.
No.
They'll use them as teaching lessons, but.
Hollenbach, not sure if that was planned or not, but he's going to be well short of the first down inside Ironman territory. It looks like the punt team is coming out.
They like to run this where they go play action and he rolls out to the other side. I think he was already determined he was going to run with the football, whether it was because the coverage downfield was good or just he saw an opening, but nonetheless he couldn't get to the down marker. And Danville forces Julian Fleming to have his busiest punting game of the season.
Well, there he gets a high one off. And it's going to be a touchback.
Close.
That was real close. 3:50 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Just 1 touchdown put up by the Tigers. And that was in the first 18 seconds of this half. Danville really has done nothing on offense except run the ball. 1 incomplete pass. Well, Coach Kaiser came in not happy with the way his team was playing. Add in a couple more injuries, and we'll see how he feels after this game. But he just wants to get out of here healthy and move on to Shamokin next week. Riley to the outside. Kozik makes a catch.
Yeah, now we're seeing some offense from Kozik. So he must be feeling a little better. Remember, he was the player in the first half. Got thrown into the bench. So maybe just a temporary shake up there.
As Emma mentioned, Peyton Persing, the junior. He's also out, number 17. Almost some room for Harris, but he's taken down.
Go to the up man this time and find some room on that right side. And Ironmen move the chains.
Remember, Ryan Palm is out, too. 34, he had a couple of good runs in the first half. So we're seeing some of the guys. Here comes the backup, and Riley, no chance, couldn't get any blocking. Taken down by Zachman. Third sack of the season.
Yeah, good pressure. Boy, I tell you what, the Southern defense just comes so hard with such speed and agility. It's very hard to get solid blocks on these guys.
Well, I think the secondary also can cover most wide receivers in high school, single coverage.
True.
You have Fleming back there. You know, Day and Zuler are the starters, but you don't have to double team anybody. They play a 4-4 defense.
Coach Roth will tell you, though, the heart and soul of the defense is always that front eight.
Yep. Feldman taken down quickly. Third and long. Just 7 points per game given up this season by the Southern defense. They have 6 fumble recoveries, 4 interceptions after tonight. Under near 50 yards on the run, near 100 in the pass given up. Trying to set up a screen. No room at all given by Southern.
Well, that sack put a monkey wrench into this drive after they got the first down. And again, it's so hard to fight Southern with second, third, and fourth down long situations. It's just, it plays right into what they do well. Again, you mentioned, Bob, the coverage in the secondary. A lot of it man on man, and of course then the pass rush being able to put pressure on a quarterback.
Fleming to return it from his own 38.
Look
Into
out.
free. Couple guys to beat. Fleming with the speed. Touchdown Southern Columbia. Julian Fleming, a 60-yard punt return. Kind of surprising kicking to him.
Yeah.
It's a Plaza House touchdown, and Southern extends the lead.
Electric. I mean, that's the word to describe him right there. Again, once he just started on one side of the field, you'll see him come back, get some decent blocks. But again, this is just Fleming here. He breaks an arm tackle there, and just watch the pursuit, Bob. It's just, you can't keep up with the speed, and Fleming tiptoes into the end zone for his, I believe, his second touchdown of the evening.
The only thing I see, just put the ball in the other arm.
Yeah. He's probably used to nobody being near him.
Well, yeah.
But fundamentally, yes.
So Southern extends the lead now 34-3. Time now to take a look at the 2A standings in District 4, courtesy of WNL Subaru. Well, I talked to your dad last week, and we wish we had a telestrator. So we're going to mark maybe a 7-1. Hope to get a Wellsboro score, 8-0. South Williamsport to 7-1. We'll see Towanda next week, but 8 teams get in the playoffs. So once you win the playoffs in District 4, you only have to win 2 more games to get into the state championship.
And that's exactly what Southern did last year, and have a good chance to go back. And it's kind of funny. You look at Mount Carmel down there. They're towards the bottom of the standings. They're the team that gave Southern the biggest fits here in 2017. So it's a very deep classification. Always has been. even back when it was 1A. You know, now they switched it to 2A, and then they expanded to 6 classifications. But you know, Southern, it's not like it's going to be a cakewalk. I mean, there's no doubt they're the favorite and they're the best team, but there's some strong football programs in the district this season.
So Hoffman to tee it back up. Looked very promising early on for Danville, of course, with that early interception. First one of the season for Hollenbach. Couldn't get a touchdown, didn't convert it into a field goal, and that's the only points the Ironmen have been able to put up on the scoreboard.
You wonder
tonight.
if Peyton Riley was in this game, how different it might be.
Might be.
Again, no blame on Caden Riley. It's just, you know, Peyton Riley is going to make plays that Caden's not able to make at this point in his career.
And the playbook opens, and it becomes
right.
a lot different.
That's true, too. And any coach said that to us before the game, that, you know, without Peyton, it limits what they can do.
Now, you mentioned some of the younger players for Southern Columbia. Well, Danville, too. You mentioned Peyton Riley. He's just a junior. Persing's just a junior. Kozik's a junior. Up front, they have a couple of guys that will come back. So, not looking too far ahead to 2018, but Danville will be right there again as well. Under a minute to play here, third quarter. All Southern Columbia since midway through that first quarter. 34 unanswered. And this one's going to stop illegal motion. So some of the younger guys now going to get some more playing time. And that's one thing about Southern. When you're up big in the second half, you're getting a lot of experience to your second and third teams. I don't even want to say younger because they're already young.
There might be some older kids
Older
on
kids.
the field. Well, there's no doubt one thing about Southern. With a roster close to 60 kids, you're going to be competing for a job because there's a lot of kids on this team who have a lot of talent. Probably kids who'll be starting in other programs.
Millar, he had a couple big runs. I'm surprised they didn't give him the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, he was the leading rusher for the Ironmen the first half. I think he had 41 yards. Thanks to our friends in the Black Diamond Sports Network who cover all the Southern Columbia and Danville games for helping us with some stats at halftime. My good friend Phil Manny, who does a lot of the same things I do over in District 2 down here in District 4 with the streaming and website.
Jersey Shore out in front of Shamokin. Danville's next opponent, 23-0 in the third quarter. Get Millar the ball again, and why not? He's made some positive runs, another one. How about 8 for the junior?
Yeah, Millar's got good vision. You can see he sees the field well. He sees where the hole is. Decent speed. He's run that sweep a couple times and is known where to cut up, and that's important. People don't understand that about running backs. As we're going to get a timeout here.
Well, how about the end of the quarter? Third quarter in the book.
quarter.
A couple touchdowns from Southern. They've extended their lead over Danville. We are back at Tiger Stadium at Jim Roth Field. We're in the Sunbury Motors press box. I want to thank them for sponsoring our Central PA games this season. A couple radio stations here as well, and that's what shows what kind of big game it is, Chris, and really a big game. People expected this in August. This was the talk around the District 4 Media Day, Danville, and meeting Southern Columbia. But, you know, you have some injuries here and there. On paper, it looked okay, 6-1 versus 7-0. I don't think anybody expected what we're seeing from Central Columbia. Gannon Feldman up for about 7 or 8. But I think people expected Selinsgrove to be right where they are as well. So there's Caden Riley, the freshman quarterback, number 1, taking over for his brother Peyton, who was out with an injury. He'll go into the shotgun, so maybe they'll open up the playbook a little bit, see what can happen at this point. Down 34-3. So an illegal motion against Danville. Millar taking some hits, trying to get anything on second down, gain of 2.
Yeah, that penalty again. They're running the ball kind of downhill, Bob, and the penalty stops that momentum and forces you in that 3rd down and 6 situation.
A little Wildcat now, Feldman back. He gets some blocking to the outside, he'll have 1st down and more. Feldman to the sidelines, Fleming finally catches up to him inside the 30, and Danville's on the move to the 28.
Big 3rd down play for the Ironmen, and you know, they've been down at this part of the field before. See if they can get some pay dirt this time. 3 field goal attempts, they made the 1. Well executed play that time too. I think Southern got caught looking at the back, Bob, and opened up some room down that left sideline.
Some new guys up front, though, for the Tigers. Stay in that Wildcat. Feldman taking some hard hits. You see some of the clean jerseys. Got Saminsky in there, Southern. He was a starter, number 54. So he's still up front. Made the last tackle. So Riley back into the shotgun. Little fly pattern, and it's caught. Nope, out of bounds. Nice catch by Welliver, but goes incomplete.
Yeah, you'd like to see your young quarterback have some success here. And again, throw just kind of took him, faded him out of bounds a little bit. So unfortunately, it's called incomplete, and Danville will have to try again here on 3rd down.
Riley, a lot of pressure. Barely got that pass off, goes incomplete. Here comes 4th down.
Well, again, one thing we've seen from him when he has been under pressure is he's not setting his feet, Bob, and that's why balls are sailing. And that's something he'll learn with experience. Obviously, you know, you're a young player like that, you feel the pressure, you just want to get rid of the football, and don't take that extra second because it's just fundamentals with the quarterback. And believe me, it's not easy, but that's what he's going to have to learn how to do. Set those feet, and sometimes you have to take a hit to complete a pass.
Pressure. Trying to get over to Welliver. He was covered by Fleming, goes incomplete. And Southern Columbia will take over on downs at their own 28-yard line. So Emma is standing by. One of the best bands I've seen in the area so far, Emma, is this Danville band. And you have a couple of girls there.
Yes, so I'm down here with Cindy and Kaylee from the Danville Marching Band. And Cindy, you were telling me that there's been some changes in the marching band. Can you tell me what's new and exciting in the Danville Marching Band?
Yes, we got a new band director, Tom Haravi, and his fiance, Jordan Willie. Great people. Great people.
And there's been some changes with your routines out there. Can you tell me about those?
We got a new cadence from last year's and like all the years before that. And I think this one's better because it's like really upbeat and pumped.
Motivating.
And yeah, it's really nice.
And Kaylee, what's your new favorite move that you guys are doing out there?
I would have to say the ripples, only because we've never done something that kind of crazy. The only crazy thing we've done is followed each other in a circle, which we called Follow the Bradley. So I think it's really new and exciting just to have all these different sets going on, and to be so involved in band is really nice because I've always wanted the band to be a big experience.
Well, it was great watching you guys.
Thank you.
Back to you, Bob.
Congratulations to the Danville band. Great performance tonight. So a couple plays, third down on the way, new quarterback in. And a new running back, but the same success. Shane Miller in at quarterback, looks like number 11.
Why is it coming?
Dirk has also seen some playing time, number 18 this season. Peyton Purcell, a junior, gets a carry. Near midfield goes Southern Columbia. This one's winding down pretty rapidly. We're nearing the 7-minute mark. Southern Columbia looking like they'll get their 59th consecutive victory in the regular season. 2 more games left for them. And Central Columbia is waiting. And then they'll take on Selinsgrove. And Selinsgrove dominating Central Columbia, Central Mountain tonight, 27-3. So, trivia question time, Chris. Courtesy of W&L Subaru. What was Jim Roth's record his first season as head coach here 34 seasons ago?
I'm going to use a psychological answer for this. I'm going to guess it wasn't very good. Because
He has 402 wins,
Right.
60-some losses, and 2 ties.
say he had a 3-win season his first year.
A 3-win season.
There we go. Nice run.
Rodarmo breaks off. A big run. And the sophomore takes it in for his second touchdown of the season. And that extends the lead for Southern Columbia. And it's a Plaza House Furniture touchdown.
It's a nice run by the sophomore. Watch how he high steps here once he gets into the secondary, breaks a tackle there, and then accelerates towards the pylon, and Danville defenders can't catch him.
See, he has a mitt on his left hand. Banged up earlier this season. Hoffman back on. Kick is up and through. So Southern Columbia once again hits that 40 mark this season. They put up 41 right now over Danville. 7th time this season that they've scored over 40 points, Chris.
Believe me.
What's the average?
They could score a lot more too.
If they want, yeah, if they wanted to, absolutely. Where I thought Danville might have some opportunities tonight is in the special teams, but Kozik and Persing, they're two big returners, basically not back there now. We saw that big run from Kozik the one time that set up Danville pretty good. So back to our WNL Subaru trivia question. What was Jim Roth's record his first season as head coach? The answer: 6-5-1.
A couple more wins than I thought. 3 more wins.
Well, it means they got in the playoffs because they played 12 games.
I mean, Jim Roth is the architect of this program. There's no doubt about it. Southern Columbia wasn't really on the football map, and 6-5-1 now. If you had a record, they'd be on the headlines with a record like that.
Right. Here's a breakout run for Dressler, the freshman, inside Tiger territory. Goes Jagger Dressler. Darmo brings him down. So Danville may get on the board with the touchdown. Still looking for their first one here this evening.
Clock will run now, Bob. I don't know if you mentioned that before. With the 38-point lead. The sportsmanship rule, as most people call it, the mercy rule. See some of these young Tigers getting in on tackles now. Different players in, like you mentioned.
Chris will start going through some of these district standings, and then we'll talk some state play since you handle PA football news. They go back on the ground. No running room from Dressler. Okay, we've seen Selinsgrove Shikellamy, one of the best games we had all year. They're probably going to be the first two. Who's going to be one? That's still to be determined. Shikellamy with the win. Selinsgrove has that tough game at the end of the year with Southern. They could be tied, and we'll have to see how that one plays out. But how about 4A around the state?
Well, Erie Cathedral Prep might be the best team in the state. They're defending state champions. They just went and beat the best team in the state of Michigan, a bigger school too, and I find it really hard to think that anybody's going to beat them, Bob. I mean, they are that good. I mean, they were good last year. They blew out Imhotep Charter, who's won a couple state titles in the state championship game last year, and they're even better this year. So I think right now it's Erie Cathedral Prep and everybody else at this point.
3A. We know Danville. We saw Danville's right there. They're the favorite. We think Scranton Prep's the favorite in District 2.
Yeah, now Aliquippa out west. Obviously, everybody knows that name. They produced a lot of NFL kids and kind of had an off year last year. Nice pass.
Big play from Persing. Gets down to Sidler, a sophomore, and Danville's knocking on the door to get into the Plaza House Furniture end zone.
Good pattern as well. Getting to the outside. And Danville finally might get paid here. They've been close a couple times, but haven't been able to finish the deal.
Fighting is Dressler again.
Yeah, 3A is interesting just because I don't think there's a powerhouse team in 3A. A lot of the other classifications there are. Aliquippa has been our #1 team all season, and their competition in the West isn't what it was last year. If you remember, Beaver Falls came out of that same league and won the title last year.
Southern defense still playing tough.
Yeah, they don't want to give up that touchdown. A lot of pride on this field right now.
Good hit by senior Josh Deska, number 10. Danville, the Plaza House Furniture red zone. They've had opportunities down here all night long, just a field goal to show. But this one not in doubt now with 2 minutes left in the game. Well, they're trying to get a shutout, at least for touchdowns.
Don't think the first team offense isn't on the sidelines right now, encouraging the backups. Don't give it up. Don't give it up.
4th and goal, inches away, Danville. Clock continues to roll. Get to the single A bracket in District 4 after this. See what happens. See if we can get a touchdown for the Ironmen. Quarterback keep. Hands go up. And it's a Plaza House touchdown for Ian Persing, the freshman quarterback.
And Danville deserved that touchdown. I mean, they've been fighting hard all game, and again, been very handicapped with the injuries. And it's nice to see the Ironmen get in the end zone, and a little pride thing there. At least they could say they came down to Southern and scored a touchdown, even though it was maybe against the second team. But nonetheless, nice job by Persing on that drive as well, coming in at the quarterback position.
Kick is up and through, and it makes the score now 41-10. It looks a little bit better, 41-3. So what do we have forthcoming? The rest of the regular season for us has us going to Tucanic next week for a game against Towanda. The big matchup between Dunmore and Old Forge on the 27th. And we'll talk college football, Wilkes and Kings for the Mayor's Cup right here on MyTV, November 11th. That's a noon kick. We'll also have some playoffs for you here from the PIAA in District 2 and possibly 4. We're waiting to see what happens there, Chris. 4A, we saw those. Shikellamy Seals Grove. Want to see Class A if we can. Single A. Momentarily waiting. But we'll see. Muncie has the Class A, and they're playing pretty well, 6-1. Montgomery right there. How about Class A around the state?
Well, again, Bishop Guilfoyle's won 3 straight titles, so until somebody beats them, they're the favorite. Now, they've had closer games this year. I think Westmont Hilltop took them to a 17-14 game. We haven't seen games like that from Guilfoyle, so I think they're down. When I say down, that's relatively speaking from a team that's won 3 straight titles. But here's the interesting part. Usually there's a team coming out of the Whippeal. Clarendon's been a power forever.
Yeah.
They're actually on a 2-game losing streak. There's another school out there called Amani Christian that beat them. And there's another team called California, not the state, the town, that's actually unbeaten. And I think they're playing somebody else undefeated, Jeanette maybe tonight. So it's 1A's interest, very West heavy, Bob. It always has been, especially with Southern now in 2A. But, those are the teams definitely to circle. Along with, you mentioned Old Forge playing Dunmore, one of our games left. Old Forge is in the top 5 as well. They've been to a state title game out of District 2. So them and Williams Valley out of District 11 are probably the teams in the eastern side that could make some noise.
Mount Carmel beating Lewisburg tonight. They lead them 58-14. So a couple of kneels here, and this one we'll put into the books. Southern remain undefeated, 8-0, heading to Central Columbia, their last regular season game here at Jim Roth's Field, Tiger Stadium. New turf. Some other new buildings going up around here. And they'll host probably a couple playoff games, probably a 2A. You would think the 2A title game here.
Southern's going to have to run one more play here. The play clock is a little ahead of the game clock. Go to the big guy, Purcell.
And that will do it. Last play of the game. And this one's in the books. Southern Columbia wins it over Danville pretty easily, 41-10, the final score. Final thoughts, Chris, before we send it down to Emma?
I give Danville credit, especially as the game went on. They were shorthanded, but I think it just shows how good Southern is, how deep they are. They took Fleming out of the game, and he still had over 100 yards receiving. I mean, Danville did a good job on him, but that's just how good he is. And only a sophomore, that's amazing. But Hollenbach was good. The defense was outstanding for Southern, as it's been all year, and that's why they're the #1 team in the state.
So they remain undefeated. Emma trying to get our players of the game. We're going to go with Julian Fleming, Stone Hollenbach. Here you see the coaches at midfield. Danville gave it their all, Chris, and just didn't have enough and not enough depth, and taking more injuries back.
I think that's
Danville.
I think that's the biggest concern here.
Yeah.
I mean, the injuries. You already lost your quarterback for the year, and now hopefully these other kids will be able to bounce back because they're gonna need them. And don't forget, Danville still has the opportunity to win a district title. I mean, it doesn't matter that they lost 41-10 today. They got their quarterback some experience, and obviously it hurts because they wanted to come in here and win this game. Those kids were hoping that they could, and obviously it's a tough pill to swallow if you're Danville, only your second loss of the year, but nonetheless, Southern again shows their superiority, and they did a great job tonight executing for the most part, and Danville fought hard, but it's still a 31-point victory for Southern Columbia, who again, #1 team in the state, Bob. There's a reason for that. You know, the Pennsylvania Football News, we got a lot of people out there who help us out and compile these rankings, and our staff pretty much unanimously, said Southern is the best small team in the state, this year, and so they're going to stay at that #1 ranking until somebody knocks them out. So looking forward to it, though. Looking forward to seeing Southern's run here as they try to get back to Hershey. Obviously, some disappointment last year for these kids, but a lesson, definitely a lesson learned.
I know we're hoping for most, the reporters and media in this area, the covers. We're love to see Southern take on Dunmore in the Eastern Final.
Almost happened last year.
Yeah, almost happened.
But Ligonier Valley is a pretty good football team again this year. They're state ranked. Dunmore state ranked in that 2A. They would have to play first, so the winner of that would get Southern in the Eastern Final, just like last year.
Just exactly like last year.
But to see what you're talking about would be great from a fan standpoint, from a football standpoint, to see Jim Roth go against Jack Henzis.
Jack Henzis,
The two of the three winningest, the two active winningest
That's
coaches in Pennsylvania, two of the top 3 of all time.
Yep.
God bless Coach Curry, who obviously is #1. Just again, Mount Rushmore, those guys' names right there. Right there.
So our next game for our Friday night rivals next week will be on the air at 7 o'clock. At our next game right here on MyTV will be Tuesday at 5, and we'll have Lackawanna League Soccer as Scranton Prep takes on Lakeland. That will do it for us here from Tiger Stadium. An easy win for Southern tonight over Danville, 41-10 for the entire Fox 56 sports crew. For Emma Henzis, for Chris Kaharski, this is Bob Ide saying so long from Catawissa.
This is Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.